Well, I guess we should introduce Mr. Goonrock or Drew here. We've both had some very unfortunate encounters with what was once a well-respected member of the community. I mean, Doc was president for 2 days before he went inactive, after he, of course, achieved his little goal. But very recently, he's made some statements outside of the public eye that got leaked. He's standing by these. To him, they are 100% true. And these are just really the most outrageous ones, but I feel like some people do hold this belief. I'll put it on the screen here. Lemon, what do you think of this? I mean,
honestly, I don't think that it doesn't make sense because, like, he hasn't played the server at all.
He hasn't.
Ever since he became president. Like, he got on, like, maybe twice in total, to be real. And for him to call this server out to be this toxic wasteland for PvPers, it's just inaccurate, I guess.
He replied to this message as well, and I'll read this one again before we move on to just debunking the whole statement.
Wait, do you want to get in game, or you?
No. I'm using this. Okay. So he goes on to say, because more PvP players means more war, which creates spikes in activity because big factions like Lopag go to war. Dog fact number 789: the Charles SMP and the people running it do not care about the players; they care about the numbers. This is ridiculous. This statement here, okay, look, I'm going to break it down going from the beginning all the way to the end. So, his first statement I'll put it up again. The Charles SMP is a fascist server. Okay. I do not know where he got this idea. I don't understand how a Discord server could be fascist to begin with. And this is like a political Discord server. I don't know where this comes from. We hold an election every 3 months for the server figurehead person. I don't know how we could be a fascist Discord server Minecraft community. First point of his, absolutely ridiculous, insane. Hellbent on creating strife and misery. Okay. He didn't really... We tried to get him to expand upon these ideas, but he would always just troll.
Because he knew that if we went in deep in it, like if we went deeper into his argument, he would just crumble. And he'd just succeed.
He would argue with us until he couldn't anymore, and then he'd start just playing around. I don't... Hellbent on creating strife and misery. I don't understand. We have a lot of rules that actually stop that. I mean, if he's just talking about in-game stuff, which is, geez, this guy is chronically online. Which I'll get into that later. We'll talk more about this guy personally and what, like, some problems he has. No offense, but I mean, just talking about in the game. In the past year, we have implemented systems, rules, all sorts of stuff to prevent things like griefing, which griefing is the only serious problem. I mean,
we've done so much as a community to make it fun for the server. Even when we make options or choices that makes it unfun, we still go out of our way to make the server fun for everyone.
Yeah, the thing is, so this guy, he wanted to be a part of the... Let me back up. Let's go back to his presidential campaign. Do you recall what he was campaigning on?
He was campaigning for the people, I assume.
Quote unquote. He wanted to bring peace to the entire server and make sure wars didn't happen. So, a week into his administration, the third spawn war broke out. Can you tell me his response?
Joining up with Lopad and Dankus.
Yes. Not once did he make some kind of compromised channel or something. No. The moment it came to an actual war that his faction was involved in, he jumped right in on it and was talking shit just like anybody else in that faction towards the other faction.
Mm-hmm.
He only got upset because he got his ass kicked at spawn.
Yep.
That's the only reason. It's he enjoys the stuff as much as anyone else does when he's winning and when he thinks he can win.
Mm-hmm.
Which is the story of a lot of people, unfortunately. But
also,
yeah.
Another thing, a part of his argument, saying that the Charles SMP does not care about players.
We'll get to that.
We all know that's a fucking lie because you've been paying for this server ever before he even reached double digits in his age.
we'll get to that.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, we'll get to that. We'll get to that later.
It's ridiculous. I don't know what to say about it.
I don't see how. I mean, if we're talking about wars and explosions and all that, it's a video game. Doc, you thought that was fun, clearly, until you lost. You can't handle losing, clearly. And that's what you're not forced into it. I mean, if you don't want to be in it, don't do it. We have systems now where you can go get like a 200 by 200 plot of land, build your thing, no one can kill there. All the rules are yours. It's your own personal plot of land, no one can take it from you, no one can kill you there, nothing. You don't have to be involved in the war and politics side of the server if you don't want to. But you know what? It's fun. Most people think it's fun. Most people can separate the video game from real life and not let it control them and get so damn upset about it that they're online calling people fascists and all this stuff because of it. You're ridiculous, bro. Like, get a hold of yourself.
It's funny as well because he talks about how the server's toxic and everything.
Yeah.
And he adopts those same ideologies and uses them against people like Dave and Easton.
Yes. So we had a couple who play on our server. We both love them both as friends. But they broke up, and Doc thought it would be genius to start talking all this garbage because he thinks one thing about it. Bro, it's not our business. He wants to talk about toxicity. He is on here telling people that they aren't real Christians. This is a quote. They aren't real Christians if they still are friends with one of these people because they're a quote-unquote adulterer. Adulterer. Like, bro, shut up. How are you going to call other people toxic, say that other people will create strife and misery when you're doing this? They're both in a very, very bad place right now. I'm sure they're both very upset, and it's something they don't want brought up on the damn game. They come here to get away from it. And then they got to listen to Doc when he comes around for the first time this month. Talking about, well, you're not a real Christian if you're his friend. He's a damn demon. No, Doc, you're an idiot. Shut up, please. Now, I'm speaking to him because I'm assuming he'll watch this video. We actually, we asked him to come on here and actually talk to us.
He declined.
But he kept declining and just talking shit. So, I have no respect for him, personally.
Me too.
Anyway, let's move on. So, about the creating strife and misery, it's a video game. You don't have to take part in it if you don't want to on the server. There are plenty of other things you can do. You yourself thought it was fun for a time, abandoning everything you said about it, only to go and participate in it more than anybody else for a time. And that's really what it comes down to. I mean, if you don't like it, you don't have to do it. There are other things to do on the server than politics and war. It's not miserable, and it does not create strife. Unless people are like you and they take things too seriously on a video game.
Yep.
Okay, and then he goes and says, so the warmongering and PvP-oriented members are more active over the chill players. This is coming from the most inactive player on the server, by the way. He gets on he did get on about once a month. But, and he acted like he was super active or whatever. But if he got on, I think he would understand that these PvP-oriented quote-unquote players only get on when there's PvP stuff for them to do. It's why we're having to bring back the PvP server. These people don't enjoy playing the game normally. They don't enjoy the SMP setting. They don't play regularly. And that's just a fact. If you get on any given day, maybe 2 to 5 PvP-oriented quote-unquote players will get on each day. They don't get on every day like the chill people, quote-unquote, do. They actually just like to play the game.
People complain about getting killed and getting stolen from, blah, 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 blah. But there's an easy way to prevent that is just by declaring war. Because if you declare war on them, they can't kill you in your territory.
Yes, so
it just doesn't make sense to complain about being killed and PvPers when there's a solution to solve that.
Yes, if you're the only reason you wouldn't have a homestead claim is if you're a member of a faction, right? And people don't understand the war system we have is in place so that if you declare war on somebody, they can't just come randomly kill you, that you have to wait for battle day and all that. There are rules about it. People like Doc don't understand because they don't care to understand. They just want to talk shit and not listen to anybody or read any of the rules or anything like that. They don't want to engage in a discussion about it. They just want to talk shit. That's all he wants to do. But like you were saying, if you get killed on the server and you're a member of a big faction, just declare war. They can't do that to you anymore. That's that person. He was a member of a big faction on the server. Now, if you have a homestead claim, you can just ask us to make it to where everyone has weakness on your claim or resistance so they can't die. Or you can't kill each other, which is, if you don't like PvP, that's your best option if you don't want to get involved with a big faction or nation or something like that. That is your best option. Okay, let's move on to his next little message here. Starting with, because more PvP players means more war. This is the dumbest thing. Okay. If you think about it from like, an ignorant perspective, I've been doing this for 5 years. December 2018. One thing I've noticed is the PvP-oriented players he's talking about, no offense to them, I like them. Yeah. They don't... War on this server is very drawn out, slow. I mean, there's only a battle once every week. Skirmishes are rare. Just PvP-oriented players do not go to war on this server. They just don't. And when they do, they lose every time, pretty much, because they don't have anything behind them pushing it forward. They don't want to use the systems or anything. The only people who go to war on this server are the people that you said are quote-unquote chill players. They're the only people with the brain capacity, and just like the patience to actually do these drawn-out, long conflicts. We have never, and this is true, we have never had a PvP-oriented player, as he says, start, fight, and end a war all on their own. They've always had to have people who were not PvP-oriented to back them up or plan it out or get it all started every single time. PvP players have never started, fought, and finished a war on this server before. It's never happened. Not once. And we're seeing it now with the Kokushi guys. They were all big and bad. We're gonna go to war, we're gonna win. Well, they don't get on anymore. That's a PvP-oriented group. Got into a war, thought they'd enjoy it. They don't. It's too drawn out. They get bored too easy. That's the problem. This server, and I think he brings it up. I'll wait. Next, he says, because it creates spikes in activity because big factions like Lopag go to war. I don't know what he means here. Yes, a battle day during a war will get a bunch of people online for an hour. That doesn't mean anything. The wars, in fact, have shown historically that it's just going to usually cause declines in server activity. People get on less after the war. People are so used to the action and all that they just quit because they don't have it anymore. They're not going to do it themselves. We've had this issue forever. The wars, people think that they're so good for the server. They really aren't. They aren't these big activity spikes that these people think they are. I mean, I could understand why Doc might think that, because he doesn't get on, he doesn't play, he doesn't actually see. He just talks shit in these secret chats. But if he were to actually look, he would understand that these big wars don't usually lead to a massive influx in players. If you look at the third Spawn War, for example, which is the largest war in server history, happened, I think, 2 months ago it ended. The server was at its biggest before the war broke out. And then it was big again after the war ended. A lot of people would not play during the wartime because they just didn't like it. We are not pushing for people to go to war because it somehow makes the server more popular. It doesn't. I know that. I've been doing this long enough to have noticed that. But it's fun for the people that enjoy it. I'm not going to say they can't do it. It's a big part of the server, yeah. But it's not something that we're like pushing for and pushing out chill people, quote unquote, so more PvP-oriented players come in and start wars. Because that doesn't happen. It just doesn't. His next thing he says is, well, he targets Lopad here. He really doesn't like Lopad for some reason. I won't even name that. Stupid. Doc fact number 789. Charles SMP and the people running it do not care about the players, they care about the numbers. What numbers? If we want to talk about numbers, let's see. I started a server hosting it on a server that I had to pay for in, I think, September 2000 and... what was it? 2021. September 2021. So, September. So that's 15 months, and then another year, so 27 months. Okay? I'm not going to do that math, but let's see. It's about $30. So, 27 times 30. That's a low estimate. $810, nearly $1,000 since I started hosting on a server that's always up and, improves the player experience. Nearly $1,000, over $800 spent on that. If you want to talk about numbers, there's numbers. I mean, that's that's quite a lot, Doc. I mean, you're gonna say almost 1,000 dropped. I do not make profits off this server. I have not made a dime off of this server. Let's see. The people running it do not care about the players. I have spent nearly $1,000 just so people can play on this server. What makes you think that I don't care about the players on it? I implemented, I tried for years and finally implemented a system so their stuff doesn't get destroyed by random people. I update it regularly. I make mods for it for them to enjoy regularly. We put so much work into this. We have teams of people just to make the experience better for everyone involved. And you want to say, Mr. Inactivity, who's all we the people, quote unquote, who actually hates everyone here, if we get real,
Facts real,
wants to say that myself and my team don't care about the people who play on this server. I can't speak for all of them, but my mods, they can rarely play the game because they're always helping people. I have to get more mods on because I have to get more mods on board because there's just so much people need help helping them. They spend hours of their day helping people. Admins, hours a day making clans reveals so their stuff doesn't get destroyed. I, like I said, have spent nearly $1,000 on the server for no profit. Why would I do that if I'm just trying to make money, quote unquote, like you say, and don't care about the players at all? It doesn't make any sense. Doc, you're an idiot. If you want to respond to this video, please just talk to me. We'll come on here and I'll get a video with you soon. We'll do a little debate on CNN. Until next time, guys, I'll see you. Praise God and good night. Oh, fuck, dog.
Holy